As we were done with a little introduction of the active immunity, but like it is the immunity that is being by the vaccine, like from out of the body we are providing something that kills the pathogen. So if we take an example of anti-tetanus serum, like whenever you fell down on the road, so this serum or like this vaccine is being put into you or in yourself. And talking about anti-snake venom, it is when when your body is like having the poisonous substance, like for example if a snake bite you, so this will help to end the make the antibodies. So we're gonna discuss that in detail today. So active immunity active immunity means the production of the antibodies. Okay, like how these antibodies will be producing, these will be producing by our body cells, none other but by our body cell. Let's see how. So it is the immunity that create the antibodies inside our body by our body cells. How it can be the body cells? For example, by vaccination. So how it's gonna be creating the antibodies by vaccination? So by vaccination, if we insert a pathogen, for example, okay, pathogen, if we insert a pathogen, so B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes, what they gonna do? They gonna create the antibody. Okay, they'll make antibody. So by vaccination, if you're putting a pathogen, like this is the not natural, but it is the like, what do we say, the process that we are doing by our will, that is by vaccination we inserting a pathogen. So B lymphocyte and the T lymphocyte will make the antibodies. Okay, antibodies. Now another one is disease. By disease, how, like how you are being strong by the disease. For example, when you were little, remember that chicken pox happened once in the lifetime. Why? Because your body have created the antibodies against it, and it is not gonna affect, like the chicken pox are not gonna affect you again. So that is why once in life. So this is because this, like the chicken pox is a disease that happened once in a lifetime. Why it happened? Because your body has created the antibodies against it. That is why it do not happen to us again. So now, like, what are the encounters? Encounter means how your body react. Okay, encounter 1 we are talking about here. Okay, it's just a name. Encounter mean how your body reacts. Okay, so let's see. For example, have you ever observed that by after applying the vaccination, you suffer from fever? Why this is? So this is known as the encounter 1. Encounter 1 means like your body will be encountering now, like telling you how it react by applying the vaccines. So the symptoms can be mild fever and like mild fever, and in this condition your memory glands will be recorded, like your memory glands will record that after applying this vaccine, like we suffered from the mild fever. So what? Mild fever, your memory glands will record it. So the like again the next time if this is gonna happen, so it is gonna be happen in another way. So now we're talking about the encounter 2. So encounter 2, what is gonna be happen, like here the, as I told you that again we're gonna, like when the same pathogen, like for example the pathogen of the COVID is being inserted in your body, so you're gonna like with the chill fever, you suffer with the chill fever or mild fever, so your memory gland will record it, and then in the encounter 2, what it's gonna be, if like the same pathogen, for example the same again the pathogen of COVID, the same pathogen, what the same pathogen will go inside our body, will go inside, and what is gonna do, it is like it gonna be the like more severe than encounter 1, more severe, okay, and your body will start making the antibodies fast, severe or fast, okay, and here like body will be making the antibody. So at a first stage, for example, fever occurs many times in your like one like air, so where that memory goes, memory gland will save the record that yes, this happens in the last month. So if we compare encounter 1 and encounter 2, so that will be more past, like more severe, more chronic than the encounter 1. Now here we're going to talk about the 3 lines of defense, okay. Number first line of defense, we're going to talk about first line of defense, okay, in detail. So if I could make the diagram over here, and we're gonna write this is the first line of defense, okay. First line of defense contain physical barrier, as we have studied in the previous lectures, and biochemical barrier. What is biochemical barrier? The physiological barrier, okay, barrier. So physical barrier contain our skin, mucous membrane, and it contain what do we say, tears, digestive tract, respiratory tract, and what else, reproductive tract. We have taught, like we have learned this before in detail as well. So respiratory tract and some lymph tissues, and some reflexes, okay. So like physiological barrier, it like the, it's tell about the organs. The physiological barrier contain organ, for example is skin. If we talk about the skin, so what is skin, like we're going to discuss that in detail. What is skin? Skin is a intact, what it is, intact, and intact means the thing that is covered all around your body, covered, and that work as a physical barrier. Physical barrier, like that protect us from the pathogen that are about to come in our body. So skin can be multitasking organ. Let's see how. And if you want to add more info here, that 15% of our skin, 15% of the weight of body is made by skin. So if a person have 100 kg weight, so 15% of the weight will be of his skin, and the amount of skin is being covered on a body is 1.8%. Okay, so let's see how it is multitasking. It, first of all, this is like impermeable. Ab how it is impermeable, like for example, if you are eating, so if you are putting on your hand, so does it absorb, or you are taking the food from your mouth, does it absorb it? Or if you are drinking water, so the water does come from your hands? No, that means it is impermeable. How? First of all, impermeable barrier. Secondly, it works as a chemical weapon. Okay, chemical weapon. Works as a chemical weapon. Thirdly, it have squamous epithelial cells and many cells that we're gonna enlist here as well. Squamous epithelial cells, keratin cells that are also known as dead cells. How, like, these dead cells stop from the degradation. Like these cells have the cells of these are like very closely pegged with each other. They do not have any place to go, so here the growth of the bacteria will be stopped because there is no place. They are completely joined with each other. So next up we are having melanocytes. Melanocytes. Thirdly, that produce melanin. Next up we are having Langerhans cells. What are Langerhans cells? That define the what it do. It tells the complexion of our skin, and if it like our skin is made up of 3 layers: epidermis, hypodermis, and dermis. This is the number 1, this is number 2, and this is number 3. Sorry. So like these were about the epidermis. Now we're going to discuss about dermis. What is the layer dermis? The layer that is between the hypodermis and the epidermis, known as the dermis, and it do not contain blood vessels. So it contains some glands such as sebaceous glands that produces sebum. Sebum is a oil-like substance. Okay. Also, sebum contains the fatty acid, and talking about the sweat that is being produced by our skin as well, that release, sometimes some book says that it produces urea as well, that is the waste substance. So sweat produces lactic acid. Okay, and lactic acid and the fatty acid will maintain the pH of our skin, that is 3 to 5, and that is acidic. Okay, now we're gonna discuss about that what sweat glands else contain. Okay, sweat glands contain it contains lysosomes. What's the function of it? Lysosome. So lysosome do the degradation. What was degradation? Help in degradation. Help in degradation of the cell wall of bacteria. What the bacteria cell wall is made? It is made of peptidoglycan. Okay, the cell wall of bacteria is made of peptidoglycan. So degradation means the growth of the cell wall of the bacteria. So what lysosome is gonna do? This is gonna resist the growth of the cell wall of bacteria, or you may say the degradation. Now our last layer is hypodermis. Okay, hypodermis. What hypodermis contain? It contain adipose tissues. What's the function of adipose tissue? It provides the insulation. Whenever you are feeling cold, so your the skin here will trap the air, and it will maintain the layer on over the skin, so it will stop you from feeling cold. Or you may say that if you are feeling in hot, so your hairs are gonna be erect, so this will provide you some kind of the cool insulation. It will provide the insulation and also stop to penetrate the growth of bacteria. What it gonna penetrate? Also stop penetrating the growth of bacteria. Okay, insulation means providing means protection. Okay, so these were the layers of the skin. Layer contain epidermis, dermis, and a hypodermis. Epidermis do not have what do we say? It contains the cells, and the dermis, it maintains the pH, contains sebaceous glands and sweat glands that contain lysosome, and they stop from the degradation. Last but not the least, we are having the hypodermis that contain the adipose tissues that provide us the insulation that protect from our coldness.